Hey everyone, welcome to Gentle Yoga. Today we are going to do just like a real easy, chill class. Maybe something that would be nice to do after work. We will need a chair, couple pillows, couple blankets, blocks, whatever you got. We'll do some supported poses towards the end. And before we get started, actually, let's just create our bolster. Of course, if you have a bolster at home, please use it. If you don't, grab a couple towels, blankets, whatever you have. You want your bolster to be about maybe around 2 feet long, and then nice and thick so that when you roll it and you lay on it, it doesn't collapse. So we'll put that off to the side for now. Put all our props off to the side and just go ahead and have any kind of seat that feels comfortable for you on the floor. Close your eyes or gaze at the floor and take a few big soft belly breaths. Noticing how your body's feeling. Noticing what kind of mood you're in. What are you thinking about? What kind of thoughts arise? And if you'd like to set an intention for your practice, now's a good time to do it. And then you'll lift your gaze or open your eyes and come on to hands and knees. If coming onto hands and knees is painful for you, just come onto your back with your knees bent and your feet on the floor. Those of you who are okay with being on hands and knees, we'll just come through a little Chakravakasana. So inhale, lifting your head and tail, broaden your chest. So it's like cow pose. Exhale, round your back. Send your rear towards your heels. Maybe it makes it there. Into a child's pose. Let your head go. And then the inhale brings you back up through hands and knees, back into the back bend. So the shoulders are over the wrists as you inhale. And then exhale, send your spine towards the ceiling, chest to thighs, rear to heels, let the head go. Keep moving back and forth like this to the rhythm of your breath, maybe slowing the breath down. Those of you who need to be on your back due to painful knees or wrists, you could simply just do some pelvic tilts. So exhale would be pressing low back to the mat. Inhale, low back gets light or maybe comes off the mat as you tilt the front of the pelvis towards the face and then tilt it away. We'll all move with the breath a few more times. And then next time you come up through hands and knees, pause there, find a neutral spine. Inhale and exhale, look over left shoulder at your left hip, little side bend. Inhale, come back through center, and then a lateral bend opposite direction as you exhale, looking over right shoulder to right hip. Keep moving back and forth with this lateral side bend flow. And those of you, of course, who need to be on your back, you could just come into banana. You could walk your feet over to the left, arms over to the left. Take a few breaths here, and then walking the feet over to the right, a few breaths there. So we're all just getting a little side bend either side of the spine. Good, and then come back through center. And we'll come up to sit. If you find that sitting cross-legged, you're really excessively rounding your back, you're sitting on the tail bone, I encourage you to find a pillow or a block to sit on, just to prop yourself up a little bit higher. We're going to move into Artemazi and Drasana. We'll be there for a handful of breaths. So you're going to bend your left leg, and right foot comes to the outside of the left thigh. Take a moment and sit really tall. And again, if you're really rounded, lift those hips. Moving into a twist excessively rounded in the spine here is not what we're after today. And of course, if your bottom leg, the knee is tender, just straighten it. Take one more inhale, getting a little taller through the spine. And then exhale, right hand comes behind you. Wrap the left arm around your knee as you look over towards the right India Mountain. And if you find this is pinching the neck, go ahead and look through center a little bit more. Lift the heart away from the navel vertically, and then exhale, turning the head once again a little bit to the right. So even though the spine is twisting, maybe it might feel like we have a little less room as we're twisting, I encourage you to continue to breathe deeply. And if you set an intention for class today, perhaps seeing how could this pose be an expression of your intention. Maybe even lengthening the exhale as we pause here a few more rounds. Feel your right foot pressing into the floor, connected to the earth. Exhale completely. Inhale, head turns to the left, and then the rest of the spine follows. Untangle those legs and kick them out in front of you, and you can shake them out. Take the hands a step back behind you, turn the fingertips away from each other, bend the elbows, and inhale, lift your heart, squeezing the shoulder blades together behind you. And explore, how does the neck feel here? And can you keep length in not only the throat, but the back of the neck as well? Nice long line of energy from your tailbone. It arcs up through the heart, arcs out through the crown of the head. Last breath. And then we'll do our second side. This time bending our right leg, right heel towards the left glute. Take a moment, get really nice and tall. So you're pressing down through your right foot, left foot that is, excuse me. As you inhale, lift and lengthen. One more round of breath, just creating as much vertical length in the spine as you can. And then with an exhale, send the left hand back behind you. Right arm wraps around that left knee. And keeping a lot of length in the spine can help us really spread the sensation of the twist out through the most surface area of the spine. So we don't want to feel the twist centralized in just one area. We want to feel a nice ringing out of the spine throughout the spine. And if your neck's feeling a little pinched on this side as you turn your head to the left, untwist a little bit, lift your heart a little bit more vertically, and then exhale, maybe twisting a little deeper into it. One or two more rounds of breath. Exhale completely. Inhale, head, turn the head to the right, and untwist the rest of the spine. Kick the legs out in front of you. Shake it out. Hands a little bit back behind you, fingertips turning out away from each other, bend the elbows. Inhale, lift the heart, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Long line of energy throughout the spine, arcing at the heart. And then exhale, come on back through center. Now let's come on to our right side, laying down on the mat. Feel free to support your head with your hands or your upper arm, whatever you like. We're just going to focus a little bit on the left shoulder. Start to take some very big, slow circles with that left arm. See how relaxed you can get the rest of your body as you move the arm in circles. You can use this opportunity to just kind of study, how do you move? How does this left shoulder move? Go the other direction. Maybe noticing any habits. Do you tend to want to move really fast? What would it be like if you slowed down? And now, as you move through your nice big slow circle, be on the lookout for a spot that you'd like to just hold your arm that would feel like a nice stretch. And then, once you found that spot, just pause there. You could move your arm, your wrists, or your hands, or your fingers once it's in that spot, just kind of noticing the fascial connection, perhaps, of the arm. Take about one more breath holding it. And then release. Let's roll over to the other side and work on our right shoulder. Settling in, begin your big slow circles. You might notice the sensation changes if the elbow's a little bent or straightened. You go in the other direction.
If the mind starts to get busy, just let your mind rest on the sensations that you're experiencing. Let it be like a moving meditation. And then find a place to hold your arm. Finding any position that feels like a really pleasurable stretch. And again, I find, if I move my fingers or my wrists, that the sensation changes. Sometimes it becomes more pleasurable or more intense. Keep the breath deep and slow. Good, and then release. Place your top hand in front of you, help yourself up.
Okay, let's locate that bolster that we created, or maybe that we already have, and we're gonna lay on it. Let's do a little supported back bend. So you can put it long edges, parallel to the long edges of your mat, and have it at the back of the mat. I encourage you to have maybe another pillow or a block nearby in case you need your bolster to be a little bit higher under your head. Explore it. And then sitting in front of your bolster, bring the soles of the feet together and then leaning back. So your bottom is on the floor, but your head and your upper spine are on the bolster. Now, if you tend to have like really like tight back or a back pain, the soles of the feet together may be a little too intense for you. It may create more tension in your low back. Feel it out. If that's the case for you, then keep the knees bent and the feet on the mat. You could let the thighs fall in together, and actually doing the opposite action would create a little more space in the low back. So that's a good variation. Another option here would be just extending the legs, letting them be long on the mat. So inquire what would help you breathe the most, relax the most. Adding any extra pops as you need. If you need to get your head a little higher, please do. And then I'd like you to bring your arms into little robot arms, elbows bent, fingertips pointing towards the sky. Press those elbows into the mat until you can walk your shoulder blades a little bit closer together and move them a little bit further down the back. Adjust your pelvis as needed to keep the low back spacious. And then we're going to give our hands a little massage. So massaging first our right hand, you're going to start to massage the flesh that's just below the thumb of the right hand. Taking your left hand into little pinchers. And I like to palpate with my thumb into the fleshy part of the right hand. That's just below that base of the right thumb. I'm just pressing, and maybe pinching around in there. And then do some broad strokes, starting at where the little wrinkles of your wrists are, and move the thumb down across that big fleshy pad towards the opposite thumb, and doing some broad strokes there. Feel free to concentrate a little bit more on anywhere that feels a little tender. Maybe it needs a little extra love. Breathe deep. And then you're going to bring your left hand, the back of it, to behind, bring your hands, the back of your hands together, basically. Okay. And then with your left hand, you're going to grab a hold of the right thumb and just give it a stretch, any amount that feels good. You're moving the thumb towards the outside of your right arm. Let's do the second side. So just palpating around the base of the left thumb. Maybe doing some pinching all around that base. Right, so we're really using, particularly our dominant hand thumb a lot for scrolling on the phone, pressing buttons and stuff. We're using the hands for the mouse. And just, we want to release some of the tension that can accumulate in the hands. And then we'll take some broad strokes, starting at where the wrists have their little wrinkles, and then moving up towards the base of that thumb. And then we'll bring the backs of the hands together, grab a hold of the left thumb, and pull it away. Good, release, and just shake out the hands, interlace the fingers, rotate your palms towards the sky. And then feel around with it. How does it feel good? You can move the arms back any amount. Getting a stretch through both arms. And then release the hands. And let's just bring the backs of the hands to the floor on either side of the mat. Slowly moving your head to the right and to the left. Very slow, no, just releasing any tension in the neck. And then back through center a little slow, yes. Nodding the head, yes. Find a nice position to keep the head in. And focusing now in on your breath. Can you soften your belly a little bit more? Is there any amount more of surrender that you can give yourself? Deepening and softening the breath. And as you pause here breathing, I'd like to read to you a little quote from this book called A Thousand Names for Joy. It's written by Katie Byron. She does a lot of work on exploring our thoughts and how our thoughts can create suffering. In this book, she is translating the Tao Te Ching, verse by verse, if you're familiar with the Tao Te Ching. So this is verse 43. The gentlest thing in the world overcomes the hardest thing in the world. She says, the gentlest thing in the world is an open mind. Since it doesn't believe what it thinks, it is flexible, porous, without opposition, without defense. Nothing has power over it. Nothing can resist it. Even the hardest thing in the world, a closed mind, can't resist the power of openness. Ultimately, truth flows into it and through it like water through rock. Take 2 more big belly breaths here. And then bending your knees, place your feet on the floor. Take the feet as wide as the mat, knees still bent. Extend your arms left and right, and then windshield wiper your knees to the left. Draw your tummy in, and either pause here, arms left and right, or if you want a deeper experience in this pose, only if you want a deeper experience, you would interlace your fingers and extend the palms away from you and behind you for a deeper stretch, really continuing this long line of energy from your right knee through the right side of your trunk, out through the right armpit, and eventually out through the right wrist. Wherever you are, take one more round of breath. And then gently release. Arms back to the floor. Knees come back through center. Take a moment, notice the left and right side of the body. Let's do the second side. Knees go to the right. You'll notice my feet aren't touching. We'll pause there. The left hip will probably come up a little bit. That's okay. Draw the tummy in though. And then maybe you pause here with the arms on the floor. Perhaps you'd like to go deeper, extending the arms back behind you. Have a long waist and a deep breath wherever you are for about the next 2 or 3 breaths. And then gently releasing. You'll roll slowly to your right, coming off your bolster. Taking a moment, just resting the head on the arm. And then coming up and removing your props. So move your bolster off to the side. We're going to come onto our belly for Crocodile Pose. Take the feet wide. Stack the forearms. Rest your forehead on your forearms. Let your belly get so soft that as you inhale, not only does the belly expand into the mat, but you might even feel the belly expand backwards, feeling the back expand. Soft, big belly inhales, easeful exhales. Let's take about 3 more rounds of breath in this crocodile pose. Relax your bottom. Good, and then we'll move into Sphinx pose. So walk your feet closer together. Perhaps they come to touch if you can. Draw your low belly in so it's light away from the floor a little bit. And then we'll prop ourselves up on our elbows, forearms parallel. Keep pulling the low belly in. You want to support the low back. And if this does cause pain in your low back, then take the elbows a little wider and maybe you just stay in, actually you could probably just stay in crocodile pose if you are feeling tender in the low back today. If you're feeling all right, we'll hang out in this Sphinx pose for a little bit longer, pressing the elbows straight down, tops of the shoulders are coming away from the ear. You want to lift your heart up away from the floor using the strength of your arms, using the low belly pulling in. And I'm talking about the place between your belly button and your pubic bone. Pull that area in. You could look at the top of your mat. With the chin slightly down, you could look forward. One more round of breath here. And then come on back down. Pause for a round of breath in Crocodile Pose. And then we'll roll onto our back. Reclined Pigeon. Bring your right ankle on top of your left thigh. You might slide just a block underneath the left foot if you'd like to go hands free for this pose. Or maybe you reach between the right hand between the legs, left hand meets up behind the left thigh with the right hand. You're always welcome, of course, to interlace the fingers over that shin too. So few breaths here. Keep the right foot flexed. Okay, and so I'm going to give an option to deepen, turning this hip opener into a twist. If you're unable to grab the legs and pull them towards you, or you're feeling a lot of pain in the back today, just hang out in pigeon pose a little bit longer. Just do this position, totally great. If you are desiring more sensation, you feel like that would be really nice for your body today, I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. So first, we're in pigeon pose, right ankle on top of left thigh. Keep that right foot flexed. This is important to maintain integrity in the knee. And then lean the weight of your body to the left a little bit. Take a few breaths here. Good, and then you're going to take your left hand, hold on to the right knee. You'll release your opposite arm out to the right. And then maintaining a bend of your bottom leg, you're going to slowly roll the legs to the left till the right foot comes to the floor. So you're in that revolved pit, you're in that reclined pigeon, but now the legs have turned to the left. And the left hand's on that ankle. And your breath will know if you've gone too far, right? If the breath stops, then maybe you just come back to the first variation. And then if you wanted more, you could even just imagine, like, I'm going to ask you to lift your top leg, like your right leg. I'm going to ask you to lift it, and then it activates the right leg a little bit. It's a little different sensation. For the next round of breath or so, if you want to turn your head to the right, feel free. Take a slow belly breath in. And on an exhale, come on out of it. Right foot to the floor. Take a moment, notice left and right. Now we'll bring our left leg on top of right, pigeon pose, second side. Take a look at the top foot, flex it. That means the toes are peeling back. Allow your back body to surrender to the floor, noticing the muscles of your face. So we'll just pause in this regular reclined pigeon for a handful more of breaths. Okay, and then if you'd like to come along with me for the twist variation, we'll go into it. So we roll the weight of our legs to the right. Take a few breaths here, just kind of opening that left hip in a new way, right? So the left hip will come off the mat a little bit. Take a look at your top foot, keep it flexed. And then right hand holds left ankle. Left arm extends out to the left. Now roll the legs to the right. Either gazing at the ceiling or head turning to the left. So something that really for me when I was learning about yoga felt so different, kind of distinguished yoga from other physical practices, was really this inquiry and awareness about what's going on with me. How is my body handling this pose? What is the breath doing? And then as I deepened further, it became what is most kind right now for my body? What variation is best suited for this moment, for this body? Take one more big breath in. Exhale, slowly come out of it. Untangle the legs, both feet are on the mat. Take a moment, notice. Draw both knees into the chest. And let's keep both hands on our left knee. We're gonna do a little bit of core work gently and also stretch our legs. So really draw the tummy in here. Exhale. Inhale, extend your right leg and just hover it above the mat. Keep the right foot flexed. Exhale, right leg is straight and is straight and vertical. And then inhale, tummy's in, right leg is horizontal. As you exhale, bend the right knee and draw it into the chest. Again, inhale, right leg is horizontal, hover it, strong tummy. Exhale, toes peel back, leg vertical, feel the stretch. Inhale, leg horizontal, toes peeling. Exhale, leg bends, knee into chest. We're just working the right leg. Let's do that twice more. Inhale, horizontal. Exhale, vertical. Inhale, horizontal, tummy in. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, horizontal. Exhale, vertical. Inhale, horizontal. Exhale, knee to chest. One more time. Inhale, horizontal. Exhale, vertical. And let's just pause here for a second. Let's stretch it out. So bring your hands to behind the right leg. Release the left foot to the mat. And then press the right leg into your hands for a deeper stretch. Check in with your pelvis. Can you equalize the weight between both the right side of the pelvis and the left side? So both sides are equally pressing into the mat. And now slowly point your right foot nice and slow. Give it a little stretch across the top of the foot. And then some slow circles with the ankle. And circles the other direction. And then let's release. Right foot to the mat, left foot to the mat, noticing both sides of the legs. Second side. So we'll draw the knees into the chest. We'll start with that core strengthener. Both hands are going to be on the right knee. Exhale, draw your abdominal wall in. Inhale, left leg this time. Now, horizontal, peel the toes back towards the kneecap. Exhale, left leg vertical. Feel the stretch. Inhale, left leg horizontal. Hover it. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, horizontal. Exhale, vertical. Inhale, horizontal. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, horizontal. Exhale, vertical. Inhale, horizontal. Exhale, knee to chest. Now, one more time. Inhale, horizontal. Exhale, vertical. Let's keep it there. Let's stretch a little longer. So hands are going to come now behind that left leg. Release the right foot to the floor. Press the leg into the hands. Both sides of the pelvis heavy to the mat. And now slowly, easily point the toe, nice and slow. And just hold it at a point for a moment, getting an even stretch across the top of the ankle, top of the foot. And now let's roll the ankle. So some circles, warming up that ankle. Going both directions. And then release. Both feet on the mat. Okay, let's roll to one side. So we'll just do a few supported poses where we're not really exerting much effort in a moment. And so for that, I like to start off with a chair. If you find that you just need a block or a pillow, please, you can do that. But have a chair nearby or your props nearby. And first, we're just going to start in Cobblers Pose, facing our props. So maybe it's a chair, maybe it's the blocks. Soles of the feet will be together. As you come up into Cobbler's Pose, once again, if you find that you're excessively rounding, you will get much more out of this pose if you prop yourself up on a towel or a pillow. It'll really give you a head start. And so let the pelvis now, the front of it, we want to tilt the front of the pelvis towards the heels. And from here, you might rest your forearms or forehead on a block or some pillows, or maybe you want to rest them on the seat of the chair. And noticing where you're feeling this the most, adjusting the position of your heels in relationship to your groin so that this pose feels sustainable. It feels healthy, it feels kind. Can you get your belly to soften a little more? Softening your pelvis and the muscles of the pelvis. If you know that you tend to grip in the pelvic floor, uh, inquire how could you bring a little more softness to the pelvic floor? And if the mind begins to wander, you could begin to just count each exhale. And once you notice the mind thinking again, start again at one. Make it like a game, right? Not a competition so much, but just a game, playfully inquiring. And then come on up. Okay, so help the legs go wide now. We'll take a wide-legged forward fold. And in the spirit of more yin yoga, we're just going to relax the muscles of the legs. The feet don't have to flex. Just kind of let the legs do their thing. However, please have your pelvis high enough so that you can tilt the front of the pelvis towards the floor and you can get a really nice even stretch throughout the backs of the legs. As we come down onto our props, if you feel like it's really centralizing the stretch just in one area, see how can you kind of move around so you have a more broader stretch in the hamstrings instead of maybe just by the sits bones or something. So as you're ready, go ahead and rest down on your props. If you tend to have knee pain and you're finding yourself hyperextending in the knees as you relax, you could slide like a rolled up sock underneath each knee, or maybe a little rolled up towel. And then eventually coming into stillness as you're ready. If the mind wanders in the stillness, you could come to the breath count, counting each exhale. And staying just as you are, bring to mind someone that you feel a lot of affection for, someone who's really easy to love. It could be a pet or a small child, a best friend, a partner, and feel into what is it like to be in their presence? What is it like to really feel your heart open to this being? What does it feel like in your body? What does it feel like in your breath? Maybe your expression on your face changes. Allow yourself to really steep in the experience of being with this beloved being. Just noticing how your breath changes. And then slowly coming up, and we'll move it to relaxation pose. You're welcome to use the chair if you want to put your legs up on the chair or a wall for relaxation pose, or simply just laying flat. Please support yourself in any way that feels most beneficial for you as you come into Shavasana. Bring the backs of the hands to the floor, and then pressing your elbows a little bit into the floor to help walk your shoulder blades together. And once again, down the back of the ribs. Feel the length in all sides of your neck. Ensure that your entire body is softening. And then this is where I'll leave you. Please take as long as a Shavasana as you're able to, whatever feels nice for you today. Thank you so much for your practice. Namaste.